Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tesla Life number 271. Here we are, the 13th, the 13th of September 2022. It's a Tuesday. It's a surprise.
Hey, early show.
We always do our shows on Wednesdays. Tuesday is what we're doing this week because we couldn't all be present. And I don't know where Patrick is.
Still true.
Yeah. So we had moved the schedule around a little bit so we could still do the weekly report with the three of us because I was not going to be available tomorrow. And Patrick doesn't show up today. So I'm not sure if he ran into some trouble or if he'll be joining us shortly hereafter. But
hopefully
we hope he can.
Yes.
We hope he can join us. But we have Mr. Casey Green joining us, as always, from the DC area. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. And then as much as we shifted stuff up, so did the chat. Derek was first this week.
Oh, Derek is in the chat first. And Dana's joined, and Hockey Day, Mr. Regular is there as well.
Yes.
So that's the reason for a Tuesday start this week. Doesn't matter what day we pick. We got lots of news to go with it. So
that's for sure.
Always tons. So let's get started. Casey, you're going to start with the first story. Go right ahead.
So Tesla was able to get funding from the state of California for 4 ginormous superchargers. One might even call them megachargers. Since apparently they're calling them megachargers, Tesla semi-chargers. But anyway, these sites are what is it? One of them is 150 stalls. One was
164.
164 stalls. Sorry, I was off by 10. And and they're just absolutely massive. There's a question of the largest one, if it's going to be an expansion of Barstow, or if it's going to be its own thing. Either way, if it's an expansion or if it's a fresh install of an additional 164 stalls, that is phenomenal because it would make it the world's largest supercharger installation. Take that, China.
Yeah, exactly.
At least half of them have to be CCS. There is no confirmation of if this is just going to be like the European style where it's got the dual heads, a single head, or if it is got the magic connector. We have no idea if this magic dock is going to appear yet or not. There's no confirmation or denials of it in the permitting. But to get the money, half of the stalls have to be CCS capable. So however they do it.
So CCS is coming. There is no doubt because since they did get the money, that means that they've agreed to at least half will be CCS. So the CCS is coming. It's just how it's going to be implemented at these sites.
Yeah. So we've got Baker, Willows. Oh, these are all in California, and Barstow. So.
And Collier is that
Kalinga?
Kalinga. Okay.
Kalina? Yeah, Kalinga. That's probably wrong for the locals, but that's what you get for calling it something different than how you spelled it. Learn that, America. Learn that, America. I'm sorry.
So yeah, that's kind of cool. And the other thing I heard is that with these installations, it's not going to be just straight superchargers. It's actually going to have
you're going to have
some batteries and some solar.
Yeah.
So that is cool. Oh, there's our resident California letting us know the pronunciation. Kalinga.
Kalinga. I said it right.
And Derek says you did say it right. Yeah.
Good.
There you go.
There are a couple of them where I've done the reviews and posted them and they were wrong. And I'm like, well, why would you pronounce it that way? Kearney, New Jersey comes to mind immediately because that's where I got ran over that glass bottle and thankfully didn't get a flat. Why would you call it Kearney and spell it the way you do? That's wrong. Hockey Day says,
tell him, Casey. Tell him.
Hockey Day says the trailer pool-in doesn't look big enough. There's some long-ass camping trailers out there. This is true, but at least then they'll only be partially hanging out in the way and not all the way hanging out in the way.
They're going to have to get better with this. Like I'm sure it has something to do with the locations that they've picked, but there's going to have to be maybe even a separate pull-in for the trailered vehicles that go to a separate area of the supercharger.
Like when you go to the rest stop, it says cars, buses, and trucks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But don't forget also that currently the only towing vehicle they have is the Model Y and the only Model S and the Model Y can tow 3,500 pounds, And the Model X without the big ginormous tires, it can tow 5,000 pounds. So the most you're looking at for a camper for a Model X is about 20 feet. So
Yeah,
it won't
but
be hanging
they also know what's coming though too.
right.
Like they're not operating in a vacuum.
The
They know the Cybertruck is coming.
Pounds.
So you would think that they would just...
I'm wondering if Cybertruck will have its own sights. Because we've seen a couple of them with like the extra wide spacing and a couple of them with the extra deep pull-throughs.
Yeah, but they've
according to Nakide, this is not one of them.
To regular superchargers. So
yeah,
I don't know. I can't see them. Well, they could be. I guess it could be add-ons, right? They could say, here's the regular supercharger site, and we're going to lease a little bit of land right beside it, and that'll be the supercharger for the Cybertruck pull-through.
Yeah,
so
and like if these can only have one for 160 stalls, maybe they can easily get one or two. Just get their regular sites. Just buy up like 8 parking spots and then pull them side by side. That's still going to be a mess, but they can pull them side by side.
It's going to be a mess,
and have a one or two of them for drive-through. That's still going to be hard for turning the longest of trailers.
I'm not really sure as to why they haven't started to plan for this and roll this out already. Like especially with these 4 new ones where they've received some state money, you think they would have done a little bit more redesigned and be ready for some of these pull-through spots that are going to be in high use when the Cybertruck comes out for sure. They do have a year, about a year, but still.
But they're also very late. This should have been done in 2016 when the Model X party happened.
Right.
That was their first official vehicle they could tow, and not every trailer can be removed once it's loaded up. Particularly looking at the U-Haul.
We're looking at you, U-Haul.
Yes. Probably a case of they don't want to get sued, but still, either way, the situation is that it's been a couple years, and it's only going to get worse. One, as more people buy Teslas, and two, once you got a real truck.
Look at those reservations, right?
Yes.
Over 1 million. Like, okay, we're not going to get over 1 million people take up the offer because the pricing hasn't changed and all that, but still, hundreds of thousands are going to be sold.
And look how many are going to be like real workers.
They're going to be towing right out of the gate. Like that's going to be instantaneous. Many businesses have bought this vehicle to pull trailers. Like this is going to be a thing immediately. So
yeah,
we're going to have to live through that pain.
Yeah, but we'll see how it goes, because like already we're seeing people towing with the Rivian. We're seeing them tow with the Ford Lightning, and now the Ford Lightning Pro is out. The mid-tier, not. I don't know. It's the contractor special. It's got final seats. It's got amazingly most of the options, and you still get the big or the small battery. And contractors are gonna tow. It's what they do. They're there to work.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Another note on superchargers is that Tesla reaffirmed, the Twitter account for Tesla, Supercharger account, reaffirmed that yes, they will be taking votes for where to place superchargers. So they're going to put something together, and I don't know what it's going to be, but they have indicated that what Elon had said previously, that they were, maybe we should start taking input from the owners, and that's exactly what the Twitter feed said. So I don't know if it's going to be some sort of maybe a multiple choice selection, or if it's going to be a free for all. Not really sure. But I really feel that that's not probably the best way to go about it anyways. Yeah, okay, you get the owners that are venting and they want to say something like, Casey used to live in South Carolina. There was no superchargers around him. He'd be one of those guys that said, give me one in South Carolina.
All right.
But I would think at this point, Tesla's data is what should be driving next superchargers, because they have all of it.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was looking at it until you started talking about it just now. Then I was thinking, well, what if they're asking the locals? Like, what if they say, hey, we've got these 4 spots in the middle of Tennessee, in this one town. Which of these 4 do you want? That could make a difference. Yeah. But like you and I were both thinking, if it's just like, where next? That's useless, because it's a popularity contest, and it's going to be useless. And unless they say not the people who live here, and then it's only the people who are traveling. Oh, well, I'm traveling. I need it here on I-66, and I need it on I-75, versus the people who aren't even going to use it because they have home charging.
Exactly. So that's something to look forward to. Again, not really sure as to how they're going to implement it, but it is something that we're going to see in the near future, according to the Twitter feed. So next story, again, about superchargers, because this whole thing tonight is supercharger centric for sure. But
Mr. Supercharger.
Yeah, Mr. Supercharger. We'll just
Mr.
share this
Supercharger.
little photo. This is something new that we haven't seen before. So I'm going to share the screen. And this is a supercharger that, oh, where was this? This was in Mojave. Okay, how do you pronounce that? That's in California as well. Mojave? M-O-J-A-V-E.
Mojave.
Mojave.
Yeah.
As in
that
the
one's
Mojave
kind of
Desert.
Spanish, so I'll give them
As in the
credit
Mojave
on that
Desert. Okay, all right. You'll notice in this photo that the circle or the hole inside the charger is actually covered in plexiglass.
Yeah, this one.
So that's kind of unique, that it's blocking you from taking the charge cord and plugging on the opposite side of the charger. And I have not seen that ever happen, actually.
I don't think anybody else has either, because a lot of people commented on it. So I think that this is good in the case where it doesn't get iced a lot, and you've got a lot of owners that just kind of pop in whenever. But if it gets iced a lot, that could be a problem, because now when some jacked up pickup is blocking it, you can't just reach through to the other side and use it anyway.
Right. But of course, what I thought maybe it was for was that, of course, Tesla is leasing every parking spot for the superchargers if it's not their particular property, right? So yeah, they only lease a number of charging spots. And if they get some Tesla owners that are swinging around to extra charging spots on the other side and parking there to charge, maybe the property owners have gotten upset and said, hey, those are not spots you're paying for. You need to figure out a way that your cars are not going to come over here and charge in the spots that you're not paying for. So
exactly,
that is what I thought might be the cause of this.
That's a good idea too.
So we'll have to see if this starts happening elsewhere. I can't imagine. Well, I know that I've charged on the wrong end of the charger before because it's been blocked.
That's usually why I do it. Yeah.
That's about the only reason.
Then there's these sites like Charleston's Supercharger, where and a couple of them in Florida, many others, but those are the ones I've used, where they are back to back, and so immediately to the other side of this one there would be another supercharger facing the correct direction, and sometimes people pull the wrong one, and now you've got a mess. Yeah. That would also make sense.
That would make sense as well. Yeah, those ones that are back to back and
the
chargers are all beside each other. So
yeah,
sometimes you're unsure as to which one to grab it from. So if there's a piece of plexiglass blocking you from certain ones, that would make the choice a lot easier.
Yeah, I also found one in the mountains of Maryland that the cables are installed backwards, like on the wrong side. So like when you go in to reach in, you like with your muscle memory, this isn't right. And when you go to hang it back up, it's like, oh, this is definitely not right.
Wrong side, yeah.
And I don't mean wrong side like you're pulling through, but like literally they hung the thing in the wrong orientation for some reason.
That was a contractor error, most likely.
Exactly. Just like you see them labeled wrong, or they're painted wrong, or the bump stops are put in the wrong spot. That's exactly a contractor error.
Exactly. Next, guess what? Another supercharger story. We're moving on to, again, the Southwest, Yuma County, Arizona. Our friend Marco RT, who is the king of spotting supercharger permits and information, discovered recently that with the information collected on the permits for Yuma County, that he believes this is going to be the first version 4 supercharger that Tesla has ever built. And some of the reasoning for this is in the permits. Apparently, there's not apparently, I've seen it. The permits make make a call to alternate supercharging device. So this is not just a regular supercharger. This could be, thank you, Derek. This could be the new version 4 supercharger, because Marco also found that there's not 2 cables running from this new supercharger as well. There's only a single cable to plug in your vehicle. So the talk about the somehow locked in CCS charger that is part of the actual supercharger case, and that the cable's plugged into that, and depending on whether you pull up with a Tesla or if you pull up with something that's a non-Tesla, it will release the CCS or keep it locked to the actual supercharger. So we have not seen this yet. We have heard that the new supercharger is going to have no hole in the middle. It's going to be a device that's a little bit taller and skinnier.
Yeah. A semi-charger mini.
Not as big as a semi-charger, but semi-charger is like 7 feet tall. So
you gotta be able to see it so you don't run it over with your truck.
That's right. That's right. Another piece of information on this that leads us to believe that it may be the new version with the CCS built in is that the placement of the superchargers in the spots is now different. Right now, those superchargers usually straddle the center of the dividing line of the parking spots. This one is now shoved more closer to the center of the parking spot. So with cars that have a front charge port or a side port or a rear quarter, there'll be more flexibility for them to plug in, more space, so that they're not robbing it from the charger beside them because they can't reach or they can't get their car situated correctly. So
they also have longer cables because of the way that they, instead of mounting inside the circle, there's no hole.
Now they're on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those little pieces of information inside the permit.
There's one more little piece.
Go ahead.
Ava over at Tasmanian, Ava Fox, she posted it, and Elon replied to it, and he didn't correct her. Like he usually when something's wrong, Elon's like, "Oh, contraire," or "That's almost right." He didn't do any of that. He just like, "Yeah." So he has done that before when somebody's wrong, but usually he corrects somebody, or at least says, "You've got it all wrong."
So this is looking pretty good. Now, the permit is obviously in place. I did check Supercharger Info or Supercharge Info, and it was not on the map yet in Yuma on Interstate 8, I believe it is. There is, and that's somewhere between Phoenix and San Diego.
Maybe they're waiting to confirm. Like maybe they need a spot in their database for V4, or maybe they need to figure out what the actual charge rate will be, the maximum charge rate, and then they'll put it in there.
Well, usually supercharge.info, as soon as there's a permit, they put something up. So
it's true. Yeah, they put a site and not know what it is. They could do that.
Yeah. They usually fill out the information later if they don't have it all. So or correct it. So
right. But they can easily do permit.
This Yuma charger is a 40 stall. So and it does have a pull-through charger as well. So one single.
So if 2 people pull up with trailers, you gotta wait. But at least at least the way they're marked and everything, it's not set up like the current nose in, where like you get somebody who's just too lazy to park, and then you're waiting with the trailer, and then the guy with the trailer behind you is waiting on you. And then they say, "Oh, well, you're lucky I was done with my lunch. Now I'll move in 20 minutes." Jerk.
Exactly.
That happened in Santee, South Carolina, with a blue Model S from Florida. While I was towing my trailer. Well,
I know that the first time I went on a big trip with my Tesla back in 2018, I made the mistake of pulling in and charging at a trailer pull-in, so the front nose pull-in. I did that because I thought, isn't that convenient? I can either pull in or I can back in.
Right, and then a Model X with a trailer with a bike rack showed up. And they waited on you like Sonic with the tap foot.
But I was reading some more on etiquette later in that holiday, and I said, "Oh, I made a faux pas. Not supposed to do that." So
so not everybody's lazy. Some of them just don't know. But this one, they were being lazy. They knew.
Next, Lathrop, California. Derek, how's that pronunciation? Is that good?
Lathrop or Lathrop?
Lathrop or Lathrop? So we've got notification that this particular factory that Tesla has owned for some time now, this particular property, is now on a hiring spree. So this location was building power walls, power packs. There's Lathrop.
So the next question is the Megapack factory a gigafactory, or is the Megapack factory a mega factory?
Yeah, not really sure.
Well, I mean, does it put out gigawatt hours of cells?
It is going to contribute to the gigawatt hours, though, definitely. So this plant is to produce more of the power walls or power packs or a combination. And of course, I think it was Elon that said in a tweet about 2 weeks ago that they're going to lift the requirement of having Tesla solar on your house in order to get a power wall. So that requirement's going to be lifted because it looks like they're getting enough batteries to move into more production of the power walls, at least. So that is a plus.
That one, was that an Elon source, or was that Elon confirming a source? I know he was on it. He didn't say no.
Might have been a confirmation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It was two people questioned Elon, and he said, hopefully. So technically, the Megapack factory is a gigafactory. It's at 20 gigawatt hours, and they're increasing it with the staffing increase to 50 gigawatt hours. So it's a gigafactory.
So more than doubling it.
Yes, more than double.
Yeah, they're going to start to roll those out. Definitely. Okay. So that's again Tesla moving forward. That's good news with the battery front, right? We know they've been constrained. We know that continues to be a problem. We're thinking that the 4680s are not coming out as quickly as Tesla would have liked them to come out to this point. They're trying to ramp up production of that. But of course, the power walls and power packs, they're 2170s. So I think they're just starting to get more production and are able to make more of the packs, which a lot of people are waiting for these things. So that's good news for a lot of people waiting, for sure.
Yes.
Next, oh yeah, this is the new animation. So we had somebody digging around on the Tesla app on their phone, and there is a new animation that they found. I'm not sure if they turned it off or if they left it running. Here we go, share the screen. So unlike previously, now the app shows a closing of the frunk as well as an opening. So it did have an open before, but the animation was not set up to show the closing of the frunk. So this new animation has been added to the app. And this, of course,
to the app. I saw my car do it.
This, of course, has sparked people saying maybe the Model 3 and Y are going to get an automated frunk. So that is something that is speculation, but it is kind of interesting that they made the point of adding an animation to the 3 and the Y that would show the trunk automatically closing. So not sure, but I would say, why would Tesla bother writing the animation, putting it into the app later, unless they were planning to maybe introduce this in maybe the 2023 version? Maybe.
Possibly, but also, like I said, I saw it in my car on the screen. So if they already had it and they just moved it over to the app, that's another thing. But everybody else except Tesla has power frunks. Well, everybody who has a functional frunk, like the Ford F-150 Lightning, the Rivian, and the Lucid, they have power frunks. Tesla is way behind on this, so it's about time. I've got a power frunk, but it wasn't put there by Tesla.
Yep. Oh, Derek's got a cool question. He's got a Model 3 that's 4 years old. Should he replace the 12 volt before it dies on him?
Question I would ask
first. What would you think, Casey?
The question I'd ask first is, are you under warranty? And if you are, then I would hope that it goes before your warranty runs out. And if you're not, then you can head over to my channel, and I've got a link that has a coupon code for the OMU, and you can get a lithium battery for a slight discount. I went with lithium on mine, and that's why they gave me the discount, because they saw that I made the video after I made the purchase. So far, I haven't done a winter yet, so I don't know how well it does with charging in the winter, but I think it'll be fine. When I looked at their drop-in replacements for, say, RVers or off-gridders, it looks like they have the low temps and the high temps accounted for. And if they didn't put that into the car batteries, then that's a really big mistake. But they've been out long enough. I don't think that would be the case, or we'd have heard a lot of people complaining about it by now. As far as their competitors, I don't know anything about their competitors, but I really like my lithium battery in mine. The music sounds better because there's less voltage sag when the bass does this thing. And immediately, like after I put it in and locked the car, I noticed that the marker lights were brighter as I was locking the car and it was walking away. It's like, well, that's really amber. So I would definitely personally do the lithium swap on yours before it dies.
Derek, here's what I'm doing. I'm in the same situation you are in. I'm over 4 years. I have zero warranty at this point. I am sourcing what battery I'm going to pick ahead of time. Know where I'm going to get it, how much it's going to cost, and then when the car gives me the warning, I'm getting it that day.
There you go. Yeah, because that should be plenty of time. Very rarely does it die the day or two. Tesla has a point that's usually 2 weeks out, and then they schedule your appointment a month out to replace it. And for Model 3 and Model Y, it's definitely within that 2 weeks that it kicks the bucket. And for Model S and Model X, sometimes you can make it a little bit past that month for the appointment.
And Derek has said that Tesla Tech told him he could not go lithium. That's kind of interesting. I've never heard that before.
You can't go the Tesla factory lithium because it's a 16 volt different connection. And so yeah, don't go to the parts catalog and try to order the OEM lithium battery because that will not work for you if your car ships with a lead battery. Definitely follow the manufacturer's instructions when you get it and put it in, because if you do it in the wrong order, you could blow a fuse on S and X, and then your car won't move until you replace said fuse.
Well, he's got a 3.
Right, but so everybody on those ones, it's expensive. On the Model Y and Model 3, I believe that's still an E-fuse, but it's one of the bigger ones, and you got to wait about 30 minutes. But there's still a chance that if you do it in the wrong order from what the instructions say, that fuse may be the one fuse on the Model 3 that's not an E-fuse. And then again, you have to replace that. It's not. I think it's like $20 or less, but still, that means your car is stuck until you do that if you did it in the wrong order.
So check out Casey's YouTube channel, and you can see the brand that he got, and go look up the specs for your Model 3.
Definitely. Another thing with 3 and Y and the lithium batteries, the way that the car keeps track of what's going on with the 12-volt battery, your manufacturer may give you software updates, or they may give you battery swaps when Tesla starts messing with stuff. So make sure that that you do it yourself, so you know how to do it. That's how you don't have to keep paying somebody to do it every time there's a physical hardware update. If it's just a USB update to the unit, then it's no big deal. But if you have to change out the unit, you want to know how to do it and not have. I'm sure you're fine, but anybody else listening, if you don't normally do your own 12 volts, then this is one where you want to do it yourself, so you can repeat it. Yeah, or at least watch the person very closely.
Next, Casey's got a story about testing new cameras. What's this about?
Yeah. Have you got photos, or should I do them from the article?
You can pull from your side.
All right, let's do a screen share here. So Sunday before last, I believe, I showed this car off, and I didn't think much of it, and somebody else pointed out exactly what we were looking at. So here you can see this cable's coming out to the repeater camera, right?
Yep.
This device with the cable is not the new hardware. This is testing hardware. This is a stereoscopic camera, so it can build a 3D view, or it can do measurements and do truthing of the new alleged side repeater camera, which is one that supposedly has a wider view angle now. So here's what we see today when we look through our blind spot detection cameras, or our Tesla cam, dash cam situation. And then there was this animation that we discussed, a month ago or so, talking about how the
Yep.
with Tesla AI, how it's able to see around corners and account for in software update 10.69 FSD beta, how it's able to account for oncoming traffic and how well it does. Somebody was looking a little closer, noticed that this view line doesn't quite match anything that Tesla has shown off, because this is what Tesla shows off for those side cameras, and it doesn't match the forward B-pillar cameras because they look like this. So what are we looking at here, right? This
Yeah.
person speculates that perhaps we're looking at new hardware, and the fact that they're using testing hardware further
Suggests
lends
might
that
be
theory.
correct.
Yeah. So you've got the binocular stereo camera just strapped to the car with a little bit of Velcro.
Just making it work. Yep.
Yeah. This is actually, they got the camera, the close view on the other side, because look, that's the driver's side and this is the passenger side repeater. And it looks the same on the outside, but supposedly it's got a larger field of view.
And that makes complete sense. With all these different FSD beta testers and the situations that they've been running into out there on the road, there have been some specific instances like that crazy unprotected left-hand turn that Chuck has to make, that they probably would like to see some more, a wider view to make decisions. So maybe this has been coming based on those early beta testers that have found that in a certain corner, just not quite enough wide field view. Maybe we should look at, next time we assign a camera procurement with a supplier, maybe we should get a different view.
Yeah, the one that I start most of my FSD beta videos in is a similar situation. It's a 50 mile, well, it's actually a 40 or 45 mile an hour road. People doing 50 to 55. The car can't necessarily see around the corner, so it wants to creep and creep and creep. There's nothing like a building right at the edge of the roadway. Those are really bad. But it does have limited view, and it wants to kind of creep out almost to the point where it's in the close lane to figure out what's going on. There's a median, just like Chuck, but unlike Chuck, my car doesn't fit in the median. Corolla doesn't fit in the median. There's a crash here at least once a month, usually about 3 or 4 times a month, of somebody thinking they can park out there in the median, and then they get clipped in the back or the front, and then there's a mess to clean up. And so the car thinks it can fit in there, and it's bigger than a Corolla. And then after that, it can go to the other side. But it would be nice to have more comfort for that. And it does. A lot of people ask, does this mean that we get a free upgrade if they come out with new cameras? Not necessarily. It's going to depend on how Tesla classifies whether or not what we have today actually meets the definition of however they define FSD at the time. And also if it requires new compute, which hopefully it doesn't require new compute, because if it is just a new camera with a new lens and viewing angle, then the very worst case is one would expect that we could pay, what are they charging, $200 for both cameras now, one camera? Swap them out like the folks did for the guys who got the green cameras, and they swapped to full color at their cost, because the green ones were sufficient for full self-drive according to Tesla, and then they weren't. So man, I wonder if you got a refund on that one. Yeah, we changed them out, but now you're doing them for free. Oh, probably not.
What about the blinker gate?
I've got blinker gate, and apparently Tesla thinks that's sufficient. But if these are what are required to get FSD, then blinker gate is gone anyway, and I don't have to pay $200 to get rid of it.
Yeah, I got blinker gate. I'm sure Derek's got blinker gate.
Yes.
It's the early models had that problem where the case was not completely sealed, and outside light can affect the camera. So I'm hoping they've got add that to the recall list at some point.
I don't think they'll recall it, but if we can get those new cameras, either free or paid, I think that would be an acceptable solution. Now, we know this is going to be a part of Hardware 4 because Samsung was bragging about how they got the contract for the Cybertruck, and unlike how Hyundai Kia did when they got the Apple contract and then lost it because they were bragging about it, they didn't name them. They just said a leading electric truck manufacturer, and this was before the Rivian and the Ford were really ready to go. So the only leading electric vehicle manufacturer about to make a truck was Tesla. So we know that Samsung is on board for making the new equipment for that. Just like every other time we get computer and software and camera upgrades, we're going to see them on the new cars. The only question is, how are we going to see them on the old cars? Will they come at all, and will it be free? don't hold your breath. But I'll be first in line if they're paid.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If it's not $10,000, I'd pay it. Exactly, Derek. Up to $400. That's not terrible. But I don't think they should charge so much because it costs them next. These are cell phone grade cameras with plastic lenses. Come on, guys, or maybe glass lenses. But either way, it doesn't cost you $200. And if I do it myself, then come on. Or if you have a technician do it at $190 an hour, in the last I saw, probably more now. It takes them 15 minutes to pop out the cameras and swap them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so looking at a quarter-hour labor plus
they do many a day. It doesn't take them long.
Right, a quarter an hour of labor plus 2 cell phone cameras in plastic lenses with turn signals.
$10,000.
$10,000. No, I can see them doing it, but
okay, 9.5.
It's only going to go up in value.
Yeah, that's right. Next story, off to Europe. We've got a report that Model S and Model X, the charging curve has increased a little bit. So Tesla has made a modification to the charging curve for those European vehicles, just the S and the X, because of course, when the 3 came out, a number of people with S's and X's were a little bit perturbed that the 3 was getting higher charge speeds. There was an adjustment made in North America at that time. Tesla looked at the battery infrastructure for those vehicles fleet-wide and made a decision that they could bump that. And Casey's was one of the vehicles that got bumped a little bit.
Well, first they nerfed me, so I went from 150 down to 120, 110, and then shortly later they bumped me up to 170 or so, which was nice. But go ahead and continue.
So Europe did not get that bump that we got in North America previously, and now they've made that change so our European friends can get that same bump. So not a big story here, just a bit of information.
I think it's a big story.
Letting you know that Tesla is continuing to look at what's going on and makes adjustments, just like the repeater camera, just like everything else. They're looking at what's happening with the fleet out there and making adjustments that make sense as they go along.
I want to point out that this was on a 100D, so they reported this on. So that means this vehicle is as vintage as mine, and they were getting 182 kilowatts. So I'm hoping that maybe mine will charge even faster on a V4 Supercharger coming up. And then also want to point out that yes, Tesla would prefer you buy a new car, but every now and then they throw you a bone and upgrade, software, hardware upgrade. Just here you go. But hey, you still want to buy it. You still want to buy the Plaid, right? Derek points out that cameras have improved a lot since 2017, and Apple just put a 48 megapixel in their iPhone 14. I've got my third 108 megapixel cell phone camera right here. Although the Fold is not as good for some reason. It's better this year, but I'm not going back to the Fold till they find a place to put my pen, and then they include the good camera.
There you go. Next story we're going to take a look at Ford. Was this yours, Casey, or was this mine?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Hit it.
So we've seen Jim Farley talk about how they got Tesla in their sights, and instead of lying and claiming they're leading, they say we got you on our sights and we got a target on your back and we're going to do what we can. Now, how successful they'll be, who knows? Because they're skating to where the puck is instead of where the puck will be, to involve all of our Canadian friends there.
Hockey analogy. There you go.
Yes. But unlike other competitors who are just saying, yeah, we're going to beat them, and then either not doing anything or not even acknowledging what they're doing, VW and Ford are actually doing something about it. And so this time, Ford has decided that Jim Farley has said that they want to compete with Tesla and they will meet dealers to lower EV prices. And I talked about this on Sunday, and I was talking about we saw what happened with the Lightning when Ford said, all right, nobody can sell the Lightning above MSRP, and then immediately a couple dealers went for double and triple the MSRP. It's like
they're listening well.
Yes, so I'm curious what controls they have here in place, and what will be the response from the dealers. But don't forget that that for the most part, Ford has already started to kind of move the Model E brands to online orders only, and the dealers will have some demos. So I imagine that the things only get tighter if they try to pull the let's do opposite day thing again after this meeting. But we'll see what happens, and yeah, Ford needs to do something because they noticed that that Tesla's got a $2,000 per vehicle advantage on them, and this will bring them to I think $600 or an additional $600 closer than what they already did in the past. So they're almost there.
So yeah, they're asking for a $2,000 reduction in delivery combinations to get the vehicle to the customer. I have a feeling that the way the dealer network is set up and has been, I think Ford's in for some lawsuits.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to have, especially this moving that the blue oval team as well as the new E team.
Ford Blue versus Model E.
That's going to be problematic. And if Ford is going to tell their dealer that as electrification moves forward and more people are buying electric cars, that they're pulling all the electric cars over to the buy online model, and the dealers aren't going to get the cut that they used to get on a new car, that's going to be problematic for Ford. I think a lot of dealers are going to get together, because there are a ton of dealers, and they're probably going to get together, and there's going to be some lawsuits if they feel they're being mistreated.
Well, they've got another option than the one I've been speculating about. Buick just told all of their dealers if they don't go electric, they can take a buyout. I don't know if Ford's going to do a buyout, but I was always suggesting that perhaps what's going to happen is they're going to take everything they want to keep, and then they're going to put all their toxic assets and dealers into the Ford Blue, and then jettison that toxic asset. I mean, we'll see what actually happens, but I mean that seems like a reasonable something they might do. I mean, all the writing's on the wall.
Well, that's typically what you're doing in a business if you're trying to get rid of some debt and some legacy problems that you foresee. Is you cut that off, put it into another sub company, and bankrupt it.
Yeah.
And then
your dealer, your dealer agreements with Ford Blue. Sorry, you'll take it up with them. We're Model E.
Yeah,
we've renamed ourselves to Ford.
Yeah, lawsuits are coming. Lawsuits are coming. Definitely.
I wonder what they'll rename Ford Blue to. Ford Classic, or they'll just be out of business, so it won't matter.
It doesn't matter. They won't have time to change it. Yeah. Oh man, we'll have to see.
I mean, just like GM used to be called New GM, and then they became GM. So it's not unprecedented.
No, it has happened before, and probably will happen again.
Probably gonna happen a lot more because we're electrifying all the things for a future free from fossil fuels.
Patrick's not even here, and Casey's batting it out. Very good. Next, gonna have a story if I can find it. Yes, here it is. So this one is about our friends in Bargersville, Indiana. We had a story about them last week, about the police group. Well, Chief Todd has sent us some more photos this week, and we'll share them here so everyone can take a look. It is their new Model Y Canine unit.
Oh, wow.
Has appeared. So this is Dax, the dog. This is his new ride. And what's cool is, of course, gave us some inside shots as well. So look, you've got the dog enclosure. You've got the change of the door panel to the police protective coating on it to block. And
the prisoners and the canines.
Canine drives up front, prisoners in the back. Yeah.
In the cage.
In the cage, yeah. And there's a shot of inside from the front seats with the cage in the background. And of course, some of the police equipment up front. That is definitely not a standard console. That is, they've added that, their own police console.
Yeah, I see.
But very cool. We thank Todd for Chief Todd, for sending these pictures. And again, the electrification in Bargersville continues.
Indeed, at the new police headquarters.
That's right in front of the new police headquarters. So with that, here's another little bit of information that we got through. Where was this? This was through Twitter. The Tesla executive, and I forgot the name. There's Tesla executive had made a comment to Bloomberg about the ModelNext.
Oh, Martin Vieja.
Okay. He's vice VP of something, right?
Investor relations. We hear him every 3 months on the calls.
So he had indicated to Bloomberg something. Bloomberg had asked about the ModelNext, which is the cheaper Tesla that was announced way back on Battery Day. And Bloomberg, I guess, misquoted him and said that the ModelNext would be coming out before the Robotaxi. And Robotaxi has plans for 2024. So that created a little bit of a stir. And of course, he responded back on Twitter with a correction. He said, "I did not say before." So it's looking
Elon's in the paper. What is this garbage, Martin?
Yeah. So it's looking like the ModelNext will be after the Robotaxi. We kind of suspected that because really the talk about that ModelNext or the cheaper Tesla has been really quiet for some time. Elon had mentioned when someone asked him the question, he came out with, "Well, not really sure, but we've got a Robotaxi." So obviously it's not in their plans immediately. The Robotaxi is higher on the important list than a cheaper Tesla is.
Well, they'll make more profit from a Robotaxi. They didn't guarantee it'll only cost $35,000 for one. They'll probably own all of them if they put them in loops, or they could release them to the cities. And if the ModelNext doesn't have any controls, you're gonna have a $24,000 car with $100,000 software package.
That's where it's heading.
So it's probably gonna be somewhere in the middle. Assuming that I bet what Elon's hoping is that they don't have to finish the ModelNext and everybody's just renting Teslas through the Uber style feature in the app, and it never comes to pass. But we'll see what actually happens with it. And again, right now they're having trouble getting enough parts, enough battery minerals, enough battery parts, enough computers, everything. And so why would you want to take from a car that gets you all the money and put it into a car that just barely covers its own costs? We're seeing that right now, where they canceled the Model 3 long range for the option to make more Model Ys, because the Model Y has more profit, and they only have the same amount of batteries to put in. The Model Y and the Model 3 use the same battery pack. We saw it with the legacy cars. The S Plaid and the X Plaid are on way higher priority than the long range editions.
And that's because of profit, most likely. It just
they take more parts to make, but they get more profit overall.
Definitely.
Whole extra motor in both of them. but they use the same battery again, so
it's unfortunate in some ways, because I know a lot of people out there were really excited to hear that a $25,000 Tesla was in the pipe. It was coming. Battery Day is a long time ago. It's been 3 years. And
tell that to everybody waiting on a semi, a roadster, or a Cybertruck.
There's a lot of pent up demand that Tesla has got to release by starting to deliver. So Elon had said that 2022 was going to be the ramp up year for materials and battery packs. That is what they were trying to source and get up to speed. The 4680 is the thing that I believe has slowed down things a little bit. They did not get it perfect.
Well, remember,
not surprising. It's a brand new way to make a battery. It's a different form factor. It's some different items in it, and it has to be perfected. And it has to be, not only does it have to be perfected, but the rate of ones that have to be turned down or redone has to be very, very low in order to make this thing profitable. And of course, there's no Cybertruck without it. There's no semi without it. So
that's why we saw where Elon said they were required for 2023, but they would be really nice to have now.
Yeah. So they got to get that 4680 locked down into volume production. And when that happens, then Tesla's going to have a boom because they'll be able to start pumping out the cars. Battery has been slowing them down, and that will allow them to run a lot faster than what they're currently doing. So
yeah, because Berlin isn't even using structural packs yet. So they practiced. We've seen them make them, but they're not selling them. They're practicing.
And that's the other thing too, right? Is they're going to be making the 4680s on Berlin site. So you've got to have it perfected. You don't want to move to 3 sites. Facility. They've moved it now to Texas. They got to make sure that that's up and running properly, and then they've got 2 other factories to outfit and send them there as well. So
it's a lot harder to send the engineer.
It's perfected first.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to send the engineer from California or to Texas to Germany than it is to cross-pollinate between Cato Road and the Gigafactory Austin.
Yeah.
But we also saw where Austin is now finally building 2170 Model Ys. So it's like, that one you would imagine that they'd want to build all giga cells there too, but
they don't want to slow down the number of cars to sell, right? Got to keep the volume rolling. So they were forced to use the 2170 in Giga Texas because
and worse than that, not only were they forced to do it, it also happened late because of suppliers.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
they were still slowed down, but not as bad as if they had wanted all 4680s only.
Yeah. So we've got another quarter and a bit to go in 2022. Hopefully, with that time frame of 3+ months, they're going to be able to lock it down. And starting in 2023, we can start opening the spigot a little bit more, and more vehicles can start to roll out because that 4680 will be perfected.
Yeah. Another one that covered on Sunday that I wanted to bring in now, since we've got a couple extra minutes. The Model Y passed the ANCAP tests. And they mentioned the new mid bag. I forgot the name for it. They called it basically it keeps the driver and passenger from knocking heads in a side collision. That helped them with again 5 stars in every subcategory. They got like a 90-something% versus the next highest was 80-something, 89 or so. And whatever is going on in the U.S. where they can't call out the raw score, this is not a problem in that score because. The very testing bureau wrote, they got a 97% or whatever it was, and so they won't be sued by the testing company like they did, testing group like they did with here in the States. Also, in that same test, they redid the software test on the collision mitigation braking and the AI stopping for humans and bicyclists and. It stopped for the
all worked, didn't it?
It all worked. It stopped for the mannequin child. So take that, Dan O'Fraud.
Yeah. Talk about spreading FUD. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we're wrapping up the show. I want to thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please press that like button. Press that subscribe. It helps us out. Doesn't cost you anything. Helps push the channel out to others. That's what we need. We need to roll this out to more people and more eyeballs in front of this. So thank you if you do that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Casey, what do you got coming up this week? Anything special on the Casey Green channel?
Nothing special. I got finally the FSC beta 10.69 build. I got 10.69.2 with everybody else, and I did my first drive on it, and it was still very aggressive, but like that turn I was talking about, it crept all it told me where the one of the new features, they tell you where it's creeping to. So I wasn't entirely sure where it was creeping to. There was a van coming at high speed, and I was kind of got my foot over the brake, and then it didn't creep into the van, but the van flinched. I was flinching, but the van flinched, and it stopped or paused at the edge. And then it told me it was going to stop in the median that it doesn't fit in, that no car fits in, except a Smart or a Honda Fit. And then the traffic cleared on the other side, and it just zoomed out into the traffic. And that was cool. Not like in a bad way, it joined traffic. And
I was going to say that sounds scary.
Right. It joined traffic and then immediately got up to speed, and everything is so much smoother. Like the way that it holds the lane, the way it does its turns, the way it accelerates and decelerates. It's not all that Elon and the California people say it is, but at least not in my area. I'm not calling them liars, but here it never did match up with that. And then here with this update, I wouldn't say that I would have bumped it from 13 to 69 like Elon did, but it is significantly better than 10.12.2 was for me. And so I might have a video on that. I might not. I'll probably do an in the rain video because not a lot of people do those. And there's tens of videos I've already seen of people doing various tests with it in the dry, which is why I recreate it.
Definitely. Exactly.
And you can find that at youtube.com/CaseyGreen. That's KACEYGREEN. And over at CaseyGreen.com, you can find our audio podcast. I will be popping up 3 episodes in a row because we ran out of time 3 episodes ago, and then I just never caught back up.
Fair enough. And we'll give a plug to Patrick, even though he's not here.
CarsWithCords.net.
CarsWithCords.net if you'd like to see the latest writings that Patrick has added. There's actually probably be doing a virtual power plant story next week. So we will talk to Patrick hopefully next week.
And OEVA.
That's right. OVA.org.
Also, PSA, as we always say on the show, if you see something you like from Tesla, just buy it. If you can afford it, just buy it. Don't wait for something better to come along. Don't wait to see if it gets better or more expensive, less expensive. They take stuff out. They're going to do all of that. So just get it when you can, and then don't look at the new one for a couple months, and you'll be fine. That's especially going to apply to this model. Right. That's especially going to apply to this ModelNext, because if they do it, they won't be doing it for long. And if they do it, they're going to change it. Because remember what happened with the $35,000 Tesla? It showed up, and then poof, it was gone. It felt like that. It was a couple months, but it felt like that. And now people are complaining. What happened to the $35,000 Model 3? It happened. You missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, you got to be on it. You got to be on it when it happens. Definitely. Yeah. Well, with that, we thank you all for watching. Join us next week, and together we will find out what is happening in the Tesla life.
Yes. Thank you, Lee Moon.
Good night, everyone. Have a great week.
Stay positive, test negative. We've covered all of Patrick's stuff.